Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for another Success Uncensored interview. And you know, I bring the biggest, baddest, the hottest people up in here for these interviews. And I'm super, super grateful. They actually happen to be my friends. So I'm really blessed with that. But my whole goal with these interviews, as you know, as your favorite life coach, is to be able to empower all of you to define success on your own terms. And then once you define success on your own terms, make sure you've got the tools to help you live it out. Because it's one thing to talk about it, and it's another thing to actually execute and live out to get the life that you desire. And so I'm bringing in some of my most amazing friends to talk about their journey and learn from them what success, means. And so this all gets us excited and pumped for November 9th. Also, my book launch party for Success Uncensored.
Absolutely.
Yes, we're so excited. And so to kick it off, I want you to talk to people like my girl Annie today. So Annie, before we start with these amazing questions and get the tea, tell us who you are.
Hi, everyone. I'm Annie Rodriguez Newbern. I'm an attorney with Tangle Rodriguez and Associates. But more than that, I'm the current president of the Hispanic Bar Association Foundation. Yes. I'm a member of the Orange County Bar. I'm a Florida Bar Leadership Academy Fellow this year, and doing all kinds of great things around the community as far as legal services for those who can't afford it.
Amazing. And that's one of the things so I think first people need to know how we met. Because we have to tell that story really, really quick.
Okay.
And I think the reason why we met is because we really are two people who do us. We are so authentic and genuine, and that's what drew us to each other in a bathroom.
You couldn't fake it. No. We were in a bathroom.
Yeah, so it was like a political forum, and at the time, she didn't know that I was actually a part of it. We were just two girls in the bathroom, literally.
Asking for a paper towel, and it struck up a conversation.
Yeah, and we started laughing and talking, and I was like, "Oh, she's so positive. I like Annie." And I guess she felt the same way. We just had this connection. We instantly just clicked.
Positivity is contagious, and when you see that in someone else, I don't know about you, but I latch onto that and say, this is somebody that I want to spend some more time with and get to know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really brought us together and then continued our relationship.
And then I didn't know how much of a boss she was. I have to share that part. So I was like, okay, Annie is definitely doing it well and doing it consistently. We went out for lunch. Mm-hmm. And so I'm still like, I just like Annie just because she's Annie. I'm that type of person. I don't get caught up in labels or titles or anything. It's just, if I think you're a genuine person, and you have a great heart and purpose, I want to connect with you. It's that simple. And that's what she was. I had no idea she was like a big boss in Orlando.
Well, the feeling was mutual because I didn't realize.
So we go to eat, and everybody in the restaurant, hey Annie, hey Annie, hey Annie, and I'm about to make a song out of it. Like, hey Annie, like everybody was saying, and I was like, oh, who am I?
Well, it helps to be a hometown girl.
And like, who am I sitting with here? Who is this lady?
And really, really get to know the folks in your community. And that's something that really means a lot to me. And it's something that you have to continue to maintain.
Right. So and clearly you maintain great relationships. It shows.
Well, and that's part of really what keeps me going. And as a part of who I am, I'm a people person. Sometimes to a fault. That means talking a little too much to the people on the elevator when they're trying to get off. But it also means that you really enjoy having that connection that drives you.
And that's the doing you part.
That's
part of who you are.
That's doing me. That is part of who I am. And a lot of people can stifle that, can say, let me push that down. Let me not be me because it bothers people, for example. But I know that that's one of my gifts. And instead of trying to change who I am, I took that and ran with it.
Okay, so let's start with that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the book Success Uncensored breaks down 3 principles. They are simple but very profound and life-changing. Do you do it well and do it consistently? So the things that Annie's sharing right now, that is all her doing her. And so let's touch on that, doing you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing is, if the moment that I'm not doing me, everybody can tell. The moment that I'm trying to be something other than myself, That's where I've lost. That's where I failed in achieving what I've wanted to achieve.
So did you ever have a point where people were annoyed that you seemed so chipper and upbeat all the time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So how did you deal with that? Because that's a part of who you are. How did you overcome that?
Well, I mean, I like to take a breath. I like to physically stop and take a breath and look at the person and say, that's not who I am today. That's not why I am who I am right now. Because I get it also on the other side. When I'm not chipper, I get the deputy at the courthouse saying, what's wrong with you, RBF today? You know?
Oh my God.
And I have to look at them and say, this is my normal face. Just because I'm not chipper today doesn't mean there's something wrong. Just because I am super chipper today doesn't mean that I'm not upset on the inside.
So to me, that means doing you means you have to be self-aware.
Absolutely.
You have to get to know who you are and then own that.
And one of the biggest things that you've taught me is that can change.
Yes.
Is that you have to continue to keep taking that temperature.
Yes.
Keep making sure that where your priorities are, that you are in tune with that.
Yes.
Because if not, you're not going to be living that authentic life. You're not going to be happy. And back to what I was saying before, people are going to notice. And your business and your relationships are going to suffer.
That's good. So now talk about it in business. Being a woman and being an attorney and doing you. How does that work? Do you ever feel like you have to be more like a man or change your personality in order to get ahead in the law field? What's been your experience with doing you?
So I find that knowing the expectations is really the key. Because if I know what the expectations of me as a female Hispanic attorney are, then I can deal with whatever comes at me. I can deal with being confused for one of the parties, one of the people involved in the litigation. I can deal with being confused with a court reporter. I can deal with the judicial official who says, oh, we're not so dressed up today, are we? We're casual, when I wear pants instead of a skirt suit.
Wow.
Those things still happen. We're working on them as a bar across the state. But if I allow those things to get at me, I won't be doing me anymore.
Right.
I will suddenly change into whatever awful monster.
So knowing how to stay true to who you are.
Absolutely.
And even in those hard moments.
Even in those hard moments.
But to me, those are those defining moments that test you to say, is this really who I am? Because it's easy to say when it's who you are when everything's going your way.
Oh, sure.
But when you get tested, now that's where you see, okay, am I going to stand in who I am or am I going to bend a little bit?
Right. And that's where I take a breath. I've tried a lot of different techniques, but I've learned that taking a breath, an actual in and out.
Come on, everybody. Everybody do it with us.
You answer better. Waiting on that email for a hot second, reading it to somebody else before hitting send, knowing the right person who you need to talk to about that, not the friend who's just going to try to cause drama and encourage you to start something where you might not necessarily need to. That's where you take that moment.
But to do that, in order to do that and take constructive criticism, you have to not take things personally.
Oh, and that's hard.
And that's hard. So I think to really do you can't take things personally. You have to be open to new ideas and new philosophies so that you can grow.
And that's so easy to say.
Right. Until you in it and you're like, what'd you say? What'd you say about me?
And so that's where in my profession we have an easy handoff. So, for example, I know of a particular case, a particular situation where I have just gotten to my wits and I have been professional up until this certain point. But I know that if I continue on this case with this situation, that either something's going to happen where I am not me anymore, where I am not true to myself and everything's not going to go the way it should go. So I hand it off. And no one judges me for that. And I don't judge myself for that. I mean, sure, I'm disappointed because you wanted to be able to take it on the case. You always want to be able to do your job and do it well. But being self-aware enough to say, before I get into any issues, before I change who I am,
you have to know yourself.
You do.
Come on, Annie, know yourself. I love that.
And then if you do hit send on that email a little too early, or you do blow off some steam where you probably shouldn't have, You can't harbor that. You
Yeah,
have to let that go. You've got to learn from it.
Yes.
And move on.
Yes. That was so good. That was so good. It takes courage to be yourself.
It does.
It takes courage to recognize when you need to grow, when you need to change, when you need to shift. It takes so much courage to say, no, I don't like that anymore.
And to be honest with yourself.
So in order for you to be honest with other people.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're supposed to be somewhere at noon, and you know you're not going to make it.
Okay, so that's the segue into. So what Annie's trying to talk about. Okay, wait. So what she's trying to talk about is the next part of the Success Uncensored formula, which is to do it well, which means operating in excellence. And we were talking about that before. So now, elaborate on that, even down to the fine details as far as being responsive and communicating.
Sure. Well, we can all have ideas.
Yeah.
We can all have these great ideas, but if you don't do it,
yeah, I say ideas don't cut checks. Implementation does.
They don't.
Yeah.
And you can have all the hustle in the world, but if you don't show up, it's not going to happen.
Show up and show out. So that means operating in excellence. Do what you say you're going to do. And then if not, what I've learned is I love extending grace. I think we're probably the same. Yes. I totally can cut you slack, but you got to communicate with me.
You do.
I've had situations where people literally fall off the face of the earth and I can't get a hold of you for something you committed to do for me that I paid for. Right. Okay.
Right.
I'm confused.
Isn't that the most frustrating?
And I'm chasing you. I'm confused by that. And my thing is, if something happened, I get it. But let me know.
Right.
Just let me know. Don't wait.
Sometimes I find that people would rather ghost you, flake on you,
that shame.
Not show up, than send a text or an email or call and say, hey, Dr. Joy, I'm going to be a little late. Like I did today, and say, hey, something's come up.
Yes.
I think I'm going to be there a little more like half an hour. And I've learned that if I know I'm probably going to be 15 minutes late, if I say half an hour, that person appreciates it so much when I show up 10 minutes before I said.
Yeah. Right. Give people a window.
Exactly. And it goes back to that, treat people the way you would want to. Because how frustrating is it when someone commits to something and they don't follow through?
I know.
And then they expect you to do
I think
the
too,
same.
It's courage. Because I know I struggled with being a conflict avoider before. Where everything in me knew what the right thing was to do. And then I knew I was supposed to communicate effectively. But because I allowed shame and being so nervous about communicating and stepping up to the plate that I wouldn't do it, knowing the repercussions. And I had to get to a place where I was like, that's not okay. I had to get to, it's not a pass.
You did.
It's not a pass
not
to
all.
Not still step up and be a woman and own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta own it.
If you want to succeed, you
have to own it. You have to own all of it.
You own the wins. You own the losses.
I gotta take it, and I eat it. And I've learned now I eat it. It's my humble pie, and I eat it right up. Right. But guess what? I fail fast, but I learn even faster.
You have to.
I learn even faster.
I find that it took me a long time, and a lot of my friends and colleagues, it's taken them a long time, if they've ever been able to do this, to own their failures. To be okay in failure, to understand that sometimes what you wanted was not what was best for you. I think, what was that country song? I thank God for unanswered prayers. Oh man, Tallahassee taught me a lot with my FSU undergrad. That was one of the songs I brought back with me. By the way, go Knowles. That was something that I brought with me, and I remember I had never listened to country a day in my life before I moved to Tallahassee, and that was something I learned. You know what? Not every failure is actually a failure. If you can focus on what you are grateful for out of that failure, you will succeed in everything subsequent to that.
And I've learned people respect you so much more when you admit your shortcomings.
Sure.
I feel like I've gotten even bigger business deals because I'm so honest. But you know why? So when I do know something, they can trust that.
Absolutely.
You understand? Because they can trust when I will be honest about what I don't know.
Well, that's your reputation of doing it well.
Right. And then I'm honest about what I can do. You know,
Absolutely.
And so they can trust it. That's how they can trust your brand. They can trust your word.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's definitely who you are.
100%.
Yes. And so the last part with the Success Uncensored formula, do it well, and then do it consistently. Even with the obstacles that come your way, you are still being committed to your calling. And so how do you push in your purpose despite pain and obstacles that come your way, so you can still do it consistently? Because I see it all the time. The most brilliant souls, Annie. No, seriously, they are so brilliant. But that follow through.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, stay there.
Keep going. You're so close.
And you can see it, the depression. You can see the anxiety and the frustration get to them. And I'm over here like, I experienced those same things, but yet I've learned and conditioned myself how to keep going. So speak on that.
It's that authentic vulnerability. It's knowing that when you are vulnerable, that doesn't mean you're any less. And if you find that network, that group of people, it could be your mom, it could be your colleague, it could be your best friend, it could be your brother, your dad, whoever, your professor from school, your teacher from middle school, it doesn't matter. You find your person and you hold on tight. You make those phone calls while you're brushing your teeth in the morning saying, you're not going to believe this. You know who you are.
That's it.
And you just find whatever mechanism you need to keep moving forward. Then it goes back to self-awareness. So if you realize and remember what it feels like to go down that path, you pull up, you stop. You take a moment in the corner to yourself. You talk in the mirror. You hug your dog, whatever you need to do to get yourself back into where you need to be.
Keep going. No, good stuff.
You know, for me, it's taking a step back. It's taking a day off of work. It's saying, you know what? On Saturday, instead of putting in an hour or two of work,
that's good.
I'm going to put my phone down.
And I would say slow down sometimes in order to speed up.
Absolutely.
You got to slow down.
You know, and there's a lot of times people will talk about your cup. If your cup is not full, you have nothing to pour out of it. You have nothing to give. If your tank is empty, or if your cup is not full, you're not going to go anywhere.
But then I feel like some people just don't understand that you're supposed to be uncomfortable.
Sure.
Like, I feel like people stop because someone told them, or this lie
that's the network.
There's this easy street coming that just keep going, and then not only will you get what you want, but it's going to be easy.
Sure.
You see, it's like,
sure.
If it was just get what you want, okay, cool. But there's this illusion that I can somehow get what I want and it's going to be easy.
Right.
And people say, no, that's not the case. But no, that's what you're looking for. Because as soon as the obstacle comes, now you're ready to give up. But why?
What? Right.
But why?
Right.
Who said it was not? Why?
That goes to setting expectations. If your goal, if your vision of success is something that's easy, well, then go do something easy.
Go do that.
Change your direction.
Change the do you.
Exactly.
That's the do you.
That
if you know that's the type of life
want.
that you want to live, right? Don't have unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely.
And don't feel bad about what you want. Maybe
No.
you do want a more comfortable, chill, laid back life. Well, if you do, now we need to change our goals.
Right.
Let's
and
have
then
different
don't be
goals.
that friend that judges the person who wants that life.
Right, because they say doing too much. There's this rap song right now
Sure.
by Cash Doll. So all of you amazing attorneys and business owners out there, now you know about a rapper named Cash Doll. But she has a song and it says doing too much. And she's saying basically people always say she's doing too much. And she's like, no, I'm not. You're not doing enough.
Right.
Well, and be okay with that, though. So the thing is, though, but be okay with that.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be. And then you're going back to your network and knowing your people. If your people do not support you, you let them go. And vice versa.
Because it'll weigh you down. It will weigh
to.
you down, and you cannot be consistent with all that unnecessary weight.
No, and my doing it well has a different bandwidth than anyone else. So I know from experience, because I tested it out, I know that my bandwidth, aside from, I've got work, I've got family, and I can volunteer with 3 different organizations.
Gosh, that's good, Annie.
But I've tried it.
I hope you guys are understanding this.
But I've tried it. I volunteered with 4 and I volunteered with 2. And when I was at 2, I didn't feel fulfilled in the same way. I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't connecting with enough people so that I felt successful.
But I feel like when I hear you talk, I can tell you understand you're the CEO of your life.
Oh, sure.
So she's creates her own boundaries. She knows her limitations.
But I'm not afraid to test those out either.
And yes,
because that's the
works.
key. Because it might change. But right now, I volunteer with my sorority. I volunteer with the Florida Bar, and I volunteer with the local bar association. Those are my things.
That's good.
And when one drops out, when one opportunity pulls back, I fill in. So that now I know where I'm at to feel
with realistic expectations.
Absolutely.
That's how you're able to be consistent.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe you're putting on too many unrealistic expectations that you honestly cannot commit to.
Right. And
right?
and knowing that, to be able to step back, reevaluate, and
not
say,
feel bad about
no, this is something I committed to, and I can't really do that anymore. It's not allowing me to do it well, and to do it consistently.
Yes. So really quickly, for those that don't know how fabulous you are, tell them a little bit about your practice and exactly what you focus on, and then how people can connect with you further.
Well, so my practice, I actually represent the state of Florida. So we don't take any clients per se, because we just represent the state of Florida.
Okay.
But I am a current board member of the OCBA Legal Aid Society. That's the Orange County Bar Association Legal Aid Society.
See, I don't know a lot about the legal side.
Yes.
Can they request you?
So here's the thing. So I volunteer with them.
Okay.
And through them, and the Orange County Bar Legal Aid Society is an amazing organization that serves people in Orange County. And if you do not make enough money to be able to afford legal services, they will assist you.
That's awesome.
And it's something that I'm really passionate about, that most of their services are absolutely free, if not all of them. And when they cannot help you, they serve as a clearinghouse. So if people just need help and don't really know where to go, they will point you in the right direction. Whether it's the Orange County Bar Association, they have a legal...
You guys better be writing this information down.
Don't
act like you don't need it. You know how people, or tap that person next to you who's watching this video now, or share it with them. Like, they need this information.
Sure. No, but so these are really great things in the community that a lot of people, unless you're an attorney, you don't really know a lot about. So tell your auntie, tell your friend, tell whoever it is that might need that help. And Orange County, we've got some great services there. So those are some of my passions. I volunteer there, but I'm also on the boards helping them out. So I would definitely encourage you to go visit the Orange County Bar Association Legal Aid Society.
So to wrap it all up, Success Uncensored, a big part of success is being fulfilled. So if you could sum up what fulfills Annie, what would you say? What is that?
That is a big question.
I know.
That's a big question. There's a lot of
what comes
things.
to your mind.
What comes to my mind, what goes back to, I guess, what we were talking about earlier. Relationships.
Yes.
I feel most fulfilled when I have that connection with my husband, that connection with my family, that connection with my colleagues. Even though I'm in an adversarial type of profession, when we can really have those connections outside of those arguments, it is one of the ways that I'm fulfilled, when I'm helping people.
Yes.
And when I'm helping connect people.
Yes.
Because I love
Annie is the
love being a connector and connecting people with other ways so that they can be successful too.
Yes.
When you are successful, when my friends are successful, when my family's successful, I feel
wins for everybody. When one wins, we all win.
Absolutely.
That's that philosophy. Well, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and so hopefully you see when she summed up fulfillment, money wasn't the first thing. It wasn't what she said at all. It's really understanding your gifts and understanding what matters most to you and doing that every day. And so if connecting with people and inspiring people and helping people is what fulfills you, then it's like, do that and do more of that every day.
Absolutely. Why do anything else?
Why? What are we doing? Who are we trying to please? Right. So I'm so excited about Success Uncensored, and all these tips are going to help you soar and be so successful in anything that you set your mind to, and giving you the power to own your decisions and make your choices with confidence and have self-assurance and know that you're on the right path because you're designing a life that you love and that you will be committed to, because that's where the real success comes from. The follow through, knowing I did that. You can't say you did something if you ain't finished.
Not at all. Not at all. There are so many out there that have done that.
So let me tell you, I just want to make sure people know that too. Yeah, she loves to connect, but she makes sure whatever she commits to, she follows through to the end. And that's where that fulfillment comes in. I think a lot of times, sometimes you don't feel fulfilled because you started something great. You're helping people, but then you don't finish. You don't follow through.
Well, and that's why people keep calling me back.
Boom. So let's just drop. That was a mic drop. Thank you, Success Uncensored. That's it. That's why they call her back. That's all you need to know. See you later. I love that.
That was good.
Yes.